Let's be honest. Every time you watch a UFC fight, there's a moment when you wonder, how are these fighters still standing? The blood, the brutal hits, the sheer exhaustion. It's like they're pushing their bodies beyond human limits. And that begs the question, do UFC fighters really go to the brink of death in that octagon? The answer might shock you more than any knockout punch. Let's dive into the intense world of UFC fighting, the physical and mental toll it takes, and whether fighters truly risk their lives every time they step into the cage. And hey, thanks for being here. Your support keeps us going, and we're excited to share the raw truth with you. 1. The brutal reality of training camps. Before fighters even step into the octagon, they endure grueling training camps that push them to their limits. Imagine waking up every day knowing you're going to spar, wrestle, lift, and condition your body to the point of breaking, and then waking up the next day to do it all over again. Many fighters describe training camps as more brutal than the actual fights. Injuries are common, weight cuts are harsh, and the mental pressure is intense. Fighters often train through broken bones, torn muscles, and endless fatigue, all to make sure they're ready for fight night. The toll? It's more than just physical. It's emotional and psychological too. SARS 2. The dangers of extreme weight cuts. One of the most dangerous parts of being a UFC fighter isn't even the fight itself, it's the weight cut. Fighters often drop 20 to 30 pounds in just days to make weight for their division. They dehydrate themselves to extreme levels, sometimes even risking kidney failure. There have been horrifying stories of fighters passing out, being rushed to the hospital, or suffering long-term health issues due to weight cuts. While UFC has implemented safety measures, the reality is that many fighters still push their bodies dangerously close to the edge just to step on the scale. 3. The fight itself, controlled violence or a risk to life. When the cage door locks, it's just two fighters and the ref, and anything can happen. While UFC has rules to protect fighters, the hits are real and the risks are undeniable. Concussions, broken bones, and internal injuries are common. Some fighters have experienced brain trauma that affected them for the rest of their lives. And while no one has died in the UFC, there have been fatalities in other MMA promotions. Fighters know the risks every time they step into the octagon, but they do it anyway, for the love of the sport, the competition, and the glory. 4. The aftermath. Life after the octagon. What happens after the fight is often more telling than the fight itself. Fighters leave the cage with bruises, cuts, and sometimes long-term injuries. The recovery process is brutal, both physically and mentally. Many fighters suffer from chronic pain, brain injuries like CTE, chronic traumatic encephalopathy, and mental health struggles. The shocking truth? Some fighters never fully recover from the damage they take during their careers. Yet they keep coming back, knowing the risks because fighting is in their blood. 5. Why do they keep fighting despite the risks? So, why do fighters keep putting themselves through this? For some, it's the thrill of competition. For others, it's the dream of becoming a champion. And for many, it's their way out of poverty, out of tough situations, out of a life they don't want. The octagon gives them purpose, even if it means risking their health every time they step in. It's not just about money or fame. It's about proving something to themselves and the world. At the end of the day, UFC fighters don't just flirt with danger. They embrace it. They push their bodies and minds to places most of us can't even imagine. Do they go to the brink of death? Sometimes it feels like it. But that's what makes them warriors. Thanks again for following along. Your support means everything, and we're here to bring you the raw, unfiltered truth about the world of combat sports. Stay with us for more behind-the-scenes insights into the toughest sport on the planet.